National Museum of the Air Force. Currently, right now, we are going to walk through. I'm going to give you a little rundown on some things that I'm seeing, and we'll go through from here. Currently, we are looking at none other than 2600, which is JFK's airplane that they brought him back from Dallas in. We have the presidential gallery throughout here. And we have different kinds of aircraft all throughout this place. Right now, what we're looking at is troop carriers, and we're looking at all kinds of cargo aircraft. There was a global reach gallery is what they were calling it, where we were trying to get help to other people. There's an experimental gallery we're going to walk towards here in a second, and we're going to go check that out. The experimental gallery has a lot of cool things going on in it. The first thing I'd like to say about this place is you're going to see things here you never see. You're going to hear the same thing when I do the video for this. That's not a walkthrough. We have planes that are one of a kind. Here is none other than Streak Eagle, which if you know anything about the F-15, they stripped this thing down to nothing but engines and gas and flew it to 40,000 feet under a minute. Take that idea, and every time that you fly in a commercial aircraft and it takes you 20 minutes to get up to 40,000 feet, this thing did it in under 59, it was actually 59 seconds. And we have different other things we can have. A space shuttle simulator here. We have different YF aircraft because they were experimentals. We have the YF-23. We have the YF-32. Both were test aircraft from back in the early 80s and 90s that they were going for when they were developing the F-22 Raptor series. As you go along in this place, there's going to be all kinds of different options up above. We have helicopters from every time and frame from the Air Force. We have all kinds of neat stuff. So we're going to just kind of cruise along here, see what we can see. I think I'm going to get a good look down the nose of this. There's an aircraft here that is very, very oddball, and you won't see anywhere else, but it's around the corner. It's a beast, it's a giant, and there's only, I think, 2 or 3 of them in the world, and one of them crashed at one point in time. So let's get around the space shuttle, and we'll go and check out and see what we've got around the corner here. Hey guys, thanks for joining, I appreciate it. We're at the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio currently. We're walking through towards the experimental section of the the museum. So right now, we have, not only do we have rockets and stuff, we have rockets right here, but we have this really cool one that was the XB-70. What you're looking at right now is a plane that actually, there's only 2 or 3 built, and they were tested out. This particular one used to sit outside, and this, for years before they built this awesome hangar, it sat out front of the Air Force Museum. It's a one of a kind. Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks, Ian. Hey, Nadia. Hey, D1. Yeah, this stuff is just, this is cool stuff. This is experimental aircraft only, though, in this section of the Air Force Museum. And I'm going to walk over. There is another cool one over here that is got a lot of historical significance. Hey, Ivy. Hey, Jarek. So what we're going to do is she's underneath the XB-70, and you can tell this is a big beast up above us. The X-1B. For those of you who aren't sure what this is, over on the side here, I've got to get a little closer around the corner. The X-1B, which is this airplane right here, actually was the first one to break the sound barrier. It was, I think it was Chuck Yeager that did that one. And they did some really crazy work with aerodynamics and whatnot to be able to break the sound barrier. And then some of you guys might know this looks like a Harrier jump jet. This actually is not a jump jet, it's a Kestrel. It's the precursor to the jump jet. Leave it to the British to come up with a cool plane that bows. But the experimental section of this is really, really neat. If you want to, check things out, it's out here in Dayton, Ohio. We've been here a couple times in the past. I'm going to put together a whole walkthrough video with pictures and whatnot. They have things that you're not going to see at any museum anywhere else. The one that you're looking at right now is called an X-10. This is actually very early on very, very early on hypersonic stuff. They were trying to get to go faster than the speed of sound by a couple. We got a Goblin over here. If you don't, hey Ian, I'm doing good, man. How you doing? They have a Goblin. This little thing was a really bad idea. Their idea was is they were going to carry this under big bombers and be able to try to take off and land right off of the bomber. And unfortunately, this guy didn't take into account of one problem. Big planes tend to have a lot of turbulence around them. And so this guy got bounced around and they almost killed a few pilots trying to test this thing out. But the Goblin, bizarre little airplane. We've got all kinds of good stuff here. We have, let's see here, what else do we have? There's an X3 that's right behind us, or coming up on us. The X3 was also the precursor to some of the high-end jets. Anybody knows what an SR-71 is? The X3, which is this plane right here, was actually the developmental plane for none other than the SR-71. That was the precursor. And then over here on the other side, we have a X-15, which is one of the first ones to be rocket powered. They dropped it from a bomber and let it launch up into the upper atmosphere. Hey, Ian. Yeah, this is something else, man. I'm glad that you guys are joining me. I'm like taking a walk through this place, showing you what it is, showing you the different things. This is a XB-24. They used this thing called a lifting body. I don't know exactly what all that meant, but it's basically they're using the body as the wing as opposed to actual wings on it, because you can tell there's not a whole lot of wing on this thing. It's pretty cool stuff. And all this is just one small section. This building, this museum has 4 sections that have different aircraft like this. We can go into another one and we can check it out, but we'll see what we got here. We have a Gemini spacecraft sitting here. You don't get too many Gemini spacecrafts hanging around. We got all kinds of different things we're looking at here. What else do we have? Have the big old space shuttle simulator. That's pretty cool. Let's walk into this next gallery and see how far we go with this. We're getting ready to leave the experimental gallery and the presidential gallery, and this place is huge, so you got to be patient with me, guys. We're heading to the next gallery, and the next gallery, I think, has nothing but nuclear missiles in it. So let's go check that out. Give me a shout out, guys. If you happen to be here and you're checking this out, you're checking out my channel, go ahead and subscribe at some point in time. I do this for fun. So if I know that people are having a good time and they're checking out and seeing what I'm seeing, I like airplanes, I like rockets, I like spaceships, I like all that stuff. And I'm just walking around the Air Force Museum right now showing you guys what I'm seeing. I can put together a video, which I'm going to try to do and have that done within the next week for you guys. But just to give you an idea of something you're never going to see anywhere else, I'm standing in a room right now with nothing but nuclear missiles everywhere. This is part of the Air Force Museum. This is what they do. A lot of the nuclear missile stuff has gone over to the Space Command. But I mean, this is gigantic. And to give you an idea how big these are, they're massive. Some of these actually were set up big enough that they would launch people into space on. Specifically, let me see if I can get a picture of that. This guy right here. They put a single person on a capsule at the top of that and launched it. It was a dual nuclear missile / rocket to space. You don't get to see that anywhere. It's pretty wild. And the cool part about this place is you're going to see a lot of experimental planes. You're going to see a lot of planes that are unusual. You're going to see actually Russian aircraft and German aircraft. They have Canadian aircraft in here we saw earlier. They have aircraft from all over the world. It starts from the very beginning of flight. And if you get the opportunity to get here, you actually do a walkthrough and you see like balloons and wooden airplanes and whatnot. And then it goes into the Korean War and Vietnam War era, Southeast Asia. And then it goes through the Cold War era and then the experimental place. So what you just saw earlier was the presidential wing and the experimental wing. We're heading right now into the Cold War area. And just to give you an idea, we have tons and tons and tons of planes We've got a B-47, which is another big old bomber, and they do nuclear things. Actually, one cool thing about this place is they actually have random, here, I'll take you over this one. They have random thermonuclear bombs just sitting around the place so that you get an idea how big these things are. And I know that sounds totally crazy, but I mean, here, right in front of us, we have, this is a nuclear bomb just sitting here. You can figure it out. They explain to it like this one's a hydrogen bomb and this one does this one does that. But how wild is it that you can actually see what these weapons are designed as, what they were built for, the airplanes that they came from, and what they were flying around. So let's see what else we got here. Let me take a look because we've got some more stuff to look at. We have some engines. You ever seen the inside of a jet engine? And a lot of this stuff is stuff that you've seen on TV or in the movies or whatnot, and it's pretty cool. But some of this stuff you're not going to see. So if you get a chance to get to Dayton, that's where this is at, the National Air Force Museum in Dayton. And just like here, I said random nuclear bombs laying around. That is a Mark 17 thermonuclear bomb sitting right next to a big old plane that dropped it. Kind of crazy stuff. But that's not the only thing. You're going to see some really neat options. They have a B-2 here. They have an oddball airplane or two here that is just very, very unique. Like Betty Joe, this is the one we're coming up on right now. Betty Joe is a Mustang, but she has a weird look about her because she's two planes put together as one. I think this is kind of cool personally. So right here, Betty Joe has two places for pilots. It looks like a normal plane here and a normal Mustang here, and they're connected. So crazy stuff. So just giving you guys an idea of what's going on here. I'm not going to go too much longer on this unless you really want me to, but the B-2s here, they have fighter jets everywhere. They have a U-2 plane sitting up in the top. If you're going to hang with me, I'm going to keep walking and talking. That's how we're going to play this. We have different cars that they brought in, motorcycles. The Thunderbirds, if you like the Thunderbirds, there's a Thunderbird plane or two here. There's one that's actually, I'm walking towards it. Can't get there. There's ropes. Let's get around here. But they have Thunderbird planes here from the good old days of when they all started. So we'll come around and check that out because got to go walk around the big B-2 stealth fighter or stealth bomber. And let's see, here it is. The Thunderbird planes are over on the right, so let's go there. Have a lot of little things to see and a lot of details, and it's a lot of walking. I'm not going to lie to you. You got to make sure you have your good shoes on. So this is a F-16A model, and it is set up in the Thunderbird's paint scheme with the number 1. So this was the lead pilot. This is what they're similar to what they're flying now. They're flying the F-16 still, but it's a newer version. Then we come around the corner, and there's going to be another version of the original, which is the F-100, I believe, which is what the Thunderbirds flew years back when they first started. So we have, I'm going to double check because I don't want to lie to you, but I think it's F-100. And they flew these for, I think, about 8 years maybe. I might be off a little bit. It's F-100 Super Saver. Cost them $700,000 to get this originally. And this particular one, I'm double checking, flew until from 1964 to 68, so only 4 years. I'm sorry, we got 4 years on this. This was number 6, so this would have been one of the solo pilots. But you also got to remember that every one of these planes were set up specifically for warfare, and then they demonstrated what the Navy can, or the Air Force could do. Sorry, I said Navy. I just saw the Blue Angels a couple weeks ago. So the Thunderbirds, we got an SR-71 that's sitting back here. And we have tons and tons and tons of planes everywhere. I mean, like I said, oddball planes you're going to see. This is a C-133, which was a cargo plane, but it's massive, as you can tell. And we have an Osprey back here. I know there's a helicopter around here somewhere because I'm a big helicopter fan and I can almost tell there's one somewhere close by. If any of you have seen any of my past stuff, I am a helicopter pilot on the side. I have fun with it. I love airplanes and helicopters. I love being around all this stuff. I could spend all day here talking to you about all these things, and we'd sit here and have a grand old time. If I could sit here and just each one and walk through it and check it out with you, it'd be awesome. They have MRAPs here. If anybody's ever seen an MRAP up close, it's not exactly a little truck. It's a pretty big one right here. They have a B1B, that's what the nose is here, and I'll keep looking as we go through it. So the B1B, she was an old girl that when she came online, they almost couldn't fly her because they forgot one little detail. Up here in the windshield, they forgot how to build in defrosters. So when this thing was actually originally built, they almost were grounded because they didn't put defrosters in the aircraft. Think about how crazy that idea is. And then we have, looks like a Sikorsky 53, and I'm 90% sure it is, and I'm right. So this is a MH53M. They call them Pavlo 4s. This one was called Apple One, and the really cool part about these guys is they have, not only do they have the door gunner on the side and the guys up front, but there is a ton of space back here. These big things are not missiles, they are fuel pods. Because that big engine up there, this whole big engine right here, sucks up a lot of horsepower to fly this thing. Can carry, I think it's up to 20 troops on board this, so if not a little more, plus equipment. You're talking a couple 100 pounds each per person. That's a lot of weight to fly around in a helicopter. So this one was set up for long range missions. Cool part about this is what you see right there is none other than the fuel tube. That's how they actually refuel this thing. I'm standing at the end of the rotor blade right now. That probe would come out way past this. Then they would have a basket set up, which I know they have one around here somewhere. And the basket would touch that, fuel that aircraft, and you're good to go. Anybody like the A-10? I've always been a big fan of that girl too. The only plane that was built around a gun. She is sitting right here, and unfortunately it looks like the Air Force is going to try to decommission these. Kind of hoping somebody comes in and saves the day, because this is an aircraft that is truly good for the ground troops. It protects them very well. They have the big old gun on the front. To give you an idea, they actually put it along the side here. And this big machine gun here that they have is a 30 millimeter cannon, and it starts from that nose point, goes underneath here, and this big container right under the Air Force logo is where the drum sits. Pilot sits up there, and that doesn't include all the other bells and whistles that they have down the side here. So this is an aircraft that is not terribly expensive to run. It's very survivable, and unfortunately the Air Force is getting rid of them for some strange reason, and not a happy time for me. I really, really think this is a really positive thing that they should keep, because it's low cost and it works. You don't throw away tools that are no good, throw away tools that are good, I should say, I'm sorry. But yeah, they got a stealth fighter over here. I've got a couple other things. Let's see what else we got. We've got, I totally missed this one. We have an AC-130. If you've ever seen one of these guys up close, it's a little while, because they have big giant machine guns on the side that are computer controlled. And then down through here, we have a giant howitzer that goes on board. It's a 105, and they've got two of those down on the back. And to give you an idea, if this thing circled around you, you would definitely not want to be anywhere near it, because up here, there's two more machine guns. There's machine guns down here, and there's the howitzers down here. They can clear the sides of, I believe it's a football field in under 20 seconds. So I personally don't want to be anywhere around when they let loose with this thing, but it gives you an idea of what's inside. They have the guns on the left. They have the rounds on the right. All the bells and whistles. Can't get any closer because they have fire control and stuff up in there that they actually have it covered, so you can't see what it is. So I guess some of that stuff is still classified a little bit. But then we have the Osprey sitting here. Osprey came into service in the mid 80s. Had a lot of problems with it because these big old nacelles didn't want to work right, and it would go wonky, and they lost a couple of them and some unfortunate issues when they were training. Eventually they got it right, and she's a really solid bear to fly. Know an Osprey pilot, and the guy is amazing. He flies these things around, and he just has a ball. I'm kind of jealous. So yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this around for a second, and I'm going to say I hope that you guys are enjoying what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get this out and trying to let you see things that I'm seeing. The whole idea of Hope's World is to go out, go see things, go do things. Enjoy yourself. You know, find things that you can do that nobody else will do, and do it. Just enjoy. I mean, come on, the plan that everybody's arguing about this, that, and the other thing, forget it. They're going to have protests and people screaming about stuff. I'm going to go out and I'm going to have fun with my family. I'm going to enjoy going and visiting things. We're going to an air show here in Dayton tomorrow. We're going to be seeing the Thunderbirds actually fly. We're going to also be running around here at the museum a little more so I can do some video for you guys. I'm going to try to get the video together this week because I'm kind of busy, but we're going to see what we can do. But I want you guys to get in with this program that I keep thinking. I want you to look at yourself and go, what can I do that's different? Step outside your comfort zone. You don't have to go jump off a cliff and be crazy, but do something that's fun. Do something that you might learn something. Do something that might be neat. I don't necessarily like warfare. I like airplanes. So I'm here about airplanes. That's why we're checking this place out. I'm all about new technology. I like new technologies. It's awesome. I like gizmos. So that's what we're doing here. If you can find something that you like and you're passionate about, get out there and do it. Enjoy yourself. I know it sounds like a speech and it sounds like some sort of, go pick me up kind of idea. It's not. I want you to see how it is to be happy with everything. You don't have to be crazy about everything. Go do something simple. If you want to go learn how to draw, go learn to draw. But get out of your box. Go try things. Go do things. I'm standing here in the middle of a museum in Dayton. I don't even understand Dayton. I've never been here before. I'm learning about it as I go. And it's a neat place. It's a little different. Not like it is farther out on the East Coast, more Midwestern. They have different set of vibe around here, and they're cool people everywhere. Everybody's been nice to me so far. But coming to the air show, coming to the museum, it's something that you got to do. You got to check it out. I'm going to probably wrap it up right here in front of some custom Airforce equipment. You got a Airforce motorcycle. You got the Mustang that was built under the X1, and Vapor, which is another one that some guys did custom jobs. So with all this being said, standing in front of a B2, I really appreciate you taking your time hanging out with me. I want you to do good. I want you to be good. I want you to go out in the world. I want you to experience life. If you have any questions, any comments, anything, just shoot me a message on the YouTube channel. I try to check it out as best as I can. I try to put new content out. If you have ideas of places to go and visit up and down the East Coast, let me know. Look forward to sometime around early September. We're heading down to Orlando, and I'm going to find some fun stuff down in Orlando. But just check it out. I love you guys. Do good, be good. See you from Opal's World.